Hi everyone, welcome to Dave's Bonsai. On today's episode, an urban Yamadori Eastern Red Cedar. Well, we're going to take a look at it. Welcome inside the PSGF, everyone, on a gray Saturday afternoon. Yes, I don't have to water my trees yet again this year because of the rain. More rainwater on my trees than any other year that I've done bonsai. So far, so great. The trees really do look good. They look lush, they're full, they're growing, and it's natural rainwater. It's hard to beat. So, a big thanks to Brandon, who has let me come out to a friend of his Japanese-style garden and pick up some trees, all kinds of saplings that grow up and then get chopped or cut off or bumped or bruised. And I've picked up a couple of trees over the last couple of years, and one of them is an Eastern Red Cedar. Let's take a peek at that. So here we have a Yamadori, urban-style Yamadori from a home in Minneapolis of the Twin Cities. And dug this up a couple of years ago now. And this is, I believe, an Eastern Red Cedar. And it's a clump style. So I'm going to get close up here because it's kind of a fun a little tree. It could be a very fun clump style tree in a few years. But it's one of those trees, if you're new to this style tree in the wintertime, it gets all this kind of brown, rustic looking kind of brown foliage. It looks like it's dead. They really look like they're dying. They don't look healthy. And then boom, look at the growth this year. Year 2 in the box, large size bonsai soil, great drainage, and it's really healthy. And we can't stress enough whenever we're going to work on trees, we want to work on them when they're healthy. Nothing major today. I'm not repotting, of course. It's June after all. But we can kind of style this a little bit now and just cut some of those branches that we know are not going to be in the design. And that's part of the challenge of bonsai for many people, myself included, is what is going to be the design. Now it's hard to see what the actual nabari will look like on this tree until I dig it out of this pot for the next time. But let's get in closer and show you a couple of things about this tree that might become a really cool clump style bonsai. We got this tree in a big old box, and there are 2 big rocks in here to help this thing stabilize. I did not wire it to the box, but I kept it stable with these 2 rocks right here. And it's kind of a fun design, actually. I almost like it as it is with this tree growing between these 2 rock structures. So this may stay in the design in the end or something like it. I really do like this. Now it's got some fun movement at the bottom of this trunk, and there's multi-trunk. Let's give them a count here. We've got the main one back here, one with a split right down here. Oh, and incidentally, look at that back bud right there and this back bud right here. Anytime you see a tree that back buds like that, you know it's a tree that can back bud like that. And so you can cut up the top and get new growth. So that's too low on the tree. We won't keep those 2, or this one for sure. But because there's a little bit of a bulge in this area here because of this right here. But we have one main branch here, trunk rather, with this split off here that goes a completely different direction. So that might go. This is a really fun one right here. Look at the movement in that guy. And so it kind of comes up and comes back in, splits here to this lovely split right here. And so some fun movement there. That's 2 trunks, plus the one in between those 2 right there. So 1, 2, and 3 so far, plus this branch that makes it look like 4. And then there's the one way over here, 5. Or 4 or 5 or 6, and 6 or 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trunks for sure, and this is up on the branch here. This is a branch actually, and it's almost as thick as the main trunk right here. So we probably have to do some movement with that. I appreciate Adam from Notion Bonsai. Just watched his great work on an oak tree, and he talked about how we have to stand back and look at our trees more. And I can't agree with that more, Adam. And I'm guilty as anybody in this category. Bonsai is about patience, and I don't have any. It's taught me patience, and I'm learning it. But we got to take a peek at this thing and look and move things around. So is this going to be the front of this conglomeration? I don't know, man. A couple of big thick trunks here as the front part. Maybe it's too big for the front. Maybe it comes over here. But then we got these two branches here, this trunk and this branch crossing over this front one, which we don't like that in bonsai typically. What if I come in here more in it, but it's all kind of growing towards us? But then what if I lift it up this way in the future? I don't know what it looks like right below this rock, so I can't even make that decision until that rock is out of there. So whoa, before we make any drastic cuts, I probably should wait. What if this could be the front? Looking through this forest in there. And again, what if we lift it up? That's kind of a fun forest with the big main tree in the background. This big monster mother part of the tree. And you turn it a little bit more sideways and split these trunks over this way, and look at that as a possible front. And you see the split of that tree. Do you keep that in there, or do you take that split out? Do you gin that? And you come over to what's kind of the side or back here. And again, here's some of those back buds. 1, 2, 3 back in here. And this is an older branch, but look, there's back button on all these. Maybe that could become some part of a front in here. Again, this branch seems to be the one that gets in the way with every angle we look at this one on the inside. But do I cut that today? I just don't know. No rush. Just some little clips today, some pointers, some reminders for us all to slow down. I love this YouTube community, and I love that we can make videos and share with each other our knowledge. But as a teacher, now on summer break, one of the biggest things I talk about with my students is getting off technology. So, though right now I'm doing an active hobby with my technology of cameras and YouTube and all that, I have to turn the cameras off and just enjoy as well, and go on my Shinrin Ryoku walks and be in nature and just put the technology down. As Tom would say, grab a cup of tea. So this branch right here, just before I even go any further, is kind of long and leggy and leaning down. I'm just going to cut that branch a little bit shorter. Don't know if that's going to be a front to this design or not. And most of this is weakened because this is so covered up top. It's not going to get much light through there. I do love this kind of wispy look on this tree. It doesn't have the tight compact like on a Japanese garden juniper per se. It's kind of got that airy look, but I like it how delicate this looks. And with all the trunks down there, I'm really starting to like this Yamadori. That again, my friend from the club, Brandon, that's how I discovered him, or through YouTube. I forget Brandon. Both. I think we're connected through both. But for letting me come dig this tree up. What a fantastic find. So this is the main trunk. And it's getting pretty thick up top. Look at all this new young growth right there. And look at all these runners from this year's growth. It's just phenomenal. But I really don't know what I should cut at the moment because I don't know how I'm going to keep this tree in the future. I do kind of like that main trunk off to the left, but then this branch would have to come off because that's really blocking it. I kind of like looking through the forest to that big tree back there as well. And again, even in this angle, this branch should come off, I think. It's just not in a great place, this branch. But if I do this too right here, this is the best for this split trunk there. But it's going to compete with that one back there. So something tells me to get rid of that inside branch that's not getting a whole lot of light. And so I think I will do that. And I don't think a gin would look good in that position. So we're simply going to go in here. And where there once was a branch. And I'm guessing this could be a cutting. I'm not sure how these cut and propagate. But I'm not going to do that today. I have so many trees, as Nigel keeps saying. And then Nigel keeps getting more trees. Hey Nigel, what's that all about? We just can't control ourselves, can we? And as promised, this little back bud here, not going to stay there. Because that is a little thick section of that trunk. And with what I just cut off, that could be That could be a little chunky section if we're not careful. So that's the only major thing I'm cutting off today as far as a branch. Let's let the tree continue to grow, the trees continue to grow, but let's cut that one off. Now, I mentioned this tree is back budding, so if we cut some branches off, we will hopefully see some more back budding in the coming years. Down lower on the trees like right here, good back budding. But those have a long way to go to become primary branches compared to stuff up here. But then you come up here and yes, we do have some thick stuff. So do we want to cut some of this thick stuff down to size? Oh, and incidentally, before we filmed today, I did spray this. I found a little bit of white scale on here. There's still some remnants here that I have to go through and pluck off a little bit. And then I gave it a good rinse with the hose after I applied my spray. And so you can use soap and water. I've used horticultural oils, neem oil products, getting rid of some of the scale bugs, any larvae or any of the different stages of scale, and then giving it a good wash. But there is still some on here, right here. So we'll go ahead and scrape those off as we find them. That's another thing about today's video. I looked through some of my trees today and I did find scale on 2 trees. So don't forget to stop, and you don't have to style a tree every day. You might just have to go around and do some bug cleaning. So right now I'm just gonna cut out some of the real long growth, like right here. This is a really long growth, really tall in this tree. So we're gonna cut it back to size right there. This guy right here as well. Kind of this profile prune a little bit because it's growing so healthy and so robustly, but that would make a really huge branch. So if I come in here and I cut off all these tips that are really shooting out long right now, it did its job in the early spring and shot out some growth, hopefully thickened up those trunks just a little bit. But now I want to see a little bit more of a profile of this tree and cut off some of those runners a little bit and then maybe spread the wealth down below and keep working on that back budding. So a few trims, again, just to kind of get this, tree a little bit less robust in a couple of spots. And again, because it's a forest, and this is the top of this tree, yeah, there's so much energy up here, I might not want all that energy up there. And I don't. I want to spread it around a little bit. So, did that with that tree. And now this is all from the big tree. So look at this big branch up here. Cut that guy off. Cut that one down to size. Look at this branch right here. Super big from this tree back here, and look at how it's growing. Here's the main trunk, and here's it comes up here, and this one grows inside of a curve. I'm just going to take that whole branch off. Did it do anything to the main tree? Not a ton. Got a little thickness back here gone, but now I can see back here, and this is a really long branch from that tree. We'll cut that a little shorter. There, and so that one that was growing in, that's a really awkward branch for any tree inside of a curve, so we shorten that guy up a little bit as well. So just a little shave and a haircut today to get some of these tips in check. So now it doesn't look quite as overrun with growth with these leaders, which of course isn't a bad thing. We love the growth. But now we have just a little bit more shape to the tree, which again, I have not even really styled this tree at all. It just came in the ground from a Yamadori situation. And so here we go. In correcting some of those imperfections like that inside growing branch. Now this is really thick right here, this top part, and there's back budding. So I'm going to cut that tip off as well. We've got all of this right here to take over. All of that super nice. A couple more pieces of scale right there that didn't get found out earlier. We also can cut off, or cutting off a few tips with some scale, so that helps too. But as I spin this around, I can see some scale that we're just going to go ahead and continue to pluck away. So this tree right here feels heavy up top. Look at that. It's a big, heavy kind of a knob right there, and you've got this branch, and this one right here is poised to be the new leader of that tree. We cut that chunky piece off. That was a bit chunky right there. And now we have this leader on that tree. Fantastic. So that'll look real nice. And if that's the leader, I'm going to cut that down so we have a little bit more of an apex tree with a little bit of a conical shape there. We've thinned it out even more, but nothing major. You know, we haven't majorly attacked this. I've got some great back budding in here. You see all that? So we can cut this one off too if we wanted to, and cut it shorter for sure. We'll cut that tip off. It's got all that back bud. Now the light's going to get in here. You see a hanging, dangling branch there. We'll cut that off. And now on this main tree back here, this branch is coming at us pretty heavy. So I'm going to cut that one down a little bit to size. Now we've got a little bit more freedom in here and all kinds of fun growth up here. Now this tree's getting thick up here too. So let's cut the tip off. Look at that piece of growth right there. Real thick right there with 1, 2, 3, 4 branches and back budding. Real thick on the tip. And now we've thinned it out. Look at that. It's a little nice and thin. And we've got the tree growing over this way. So this might take over. This might take over. This is lower. This is a different branch. Cut that down a little bit to size. Cut this one too for size to keep that the main tree. A little tip there. A little growth that way there. And a tip. And a tip. So I think that's all we're going to do for today. As many of you scream from your viewing location, put the scissors down, Dave. Put it down. There we go. We got rid of that branch in there. We brought this all down into some more compactness, thinned things out, got rid of some chunky tips in here. 1, 2, 3 main trees. We've got these other ones that are leaning. We could put rocks between there. We could wire things. We're gonna see. Here's a really low branch down here. Let's just cut that guy off to give energy in the upper part of that tree. So next spring, I think I'll take this out of this box, and I might put it back in, or I'll put it into a new bonsai type pot or a smaller box. And we'll see how these rocks are going to stay or go away from this design, because I love how it's growing between these two rock beds. And they were just in there to hold it steady because it was pretty light with the roots and it didn't have much to hold stable. So these rocks are holding it stable. Maybe it'll look great in moving forward with this design. Really cool rocks too. 2 different color rocks. I'd maybe like 2 of this color because it's lighter than the trunk, and this is darker than the trunk, but some nice contrast there, even if it's forward, backwards, bright up front, dark in the back with the tree growing out of the crack. Who knows? We'll spin it around and we'll see when we get it out of the pot next spring. Well, there we have another tree worked on and ready to put back out in the beautiful rain. The rain is keeping everything super nice this year. Hey, don't forget to check your trees though for the bugs and critters. A little bit of scale on a couple trees today. So if you're not clipping and working on your trees that way, don't forget to check for those things because we have to take care of that as well. Things are good in the PSGF. It's raining outside. It's a lovely casual kickback Saturday. I've almost cranked out a video a day since my summer vacation started. That will slow down. I don't want to love my trees to death, but there's projects to be done and there's land to go see for Bonsai Acres. I did survive the mosquito infestation. Yeah, it came out pretty good after that. We'll find a piece of property hopefully sooner than later. I'm really itching to get out there and find something. Hey, until the next tree though or project, you know what to do. Take care of you and take care of your bonsai, and we'll catch you on the next one.